Chuck, this is an intractable problem, it seems, for the president. Vladimir Putin can talk all he wants, but seems to have impunity in his actions.
Well, that's right, and I think some of the president's critics will say this is what you get for not checking him sooner, for not being tough on him sooner, for trying to for trying to bring him in when you needed Russia to do the Iran deal, but then you ended up empowering him a little bit. He feels as if, hey, I was there for you in Iran, and I'm going to assert myself here in Syria. And it's also a reminder of just what a failure the Syria policy has been. The president, has basically never been able to figure out Syria. Yes, it's an intractable problem, but it has been paralysis. There really hasn't been. There has been such a fear of getting drawn into a quagmire that has become a quagmire. And so I think at this point, basically Putin has forced the United States to have to consult with Russia on this and essentially change its policy on Assad. Whether they like it or not, they're trying to claim they're not going to do this, but they have no choice. Or we could get into an accidental military confrontation with Russia. And I say accidental because if they're bombing people we're training on the ground, how does that end?
Yeah, those kind of questions are why I was asking the other day why anyone would want to run for president. While all this is going on, at the other end of Capitol Hill, maybe things are beginning to sort themselves out after John Boehner's resignation. What can you tell us about what the leadership is the next leadership is beginning to look like?
Well, look, I think we know who the speaker is going to be, Kevin McCarthy. But boy, he's had a horrible week in getting his campaign off the ground. I mean, I think he really blew it on his comments about the Benghazi committee when he talked about them in political terms and essentially said, hey, isn't it great what we've been able to do to Hillary Clinton with the Benghazi committee, which, of course, the Clinton campaign was able to use like a cudgel. And more importantly, a whole bunch of Republicans have criticized McCarthy for his words on this because I think McCarthy has misread some of the Republican base. Many in the Republican base take the Benghazi committee seriously, and they've always feared that the leadership always viewed it as just a way to calm the troops, threw them a bone. And if you recall, the leadership never wanted a Benghazi committee, and then they flipped as a way to get conservatives on board when they reopened the government the last time. So, I think McCarthy is still going to be speaker, but he's not going to get a honeymoon anymore, and he starts in a weaker position than he ever planned on.
I don't know why anybody would want to run for president, but I can see why you'd want to be host of Meet the Press, because there's always...
That's about it. I don't know why anybody would want to be Speaker of the House or
You got the best job in Washington. Very quickly, who's on the show this weekend?
Well, I got Donald Trump. I'm going to do a sit-down with him face-to-face in his office this weekend. I also have Cecile Richards, head of Planned Parenthood, and, of course, we're going to deal with Syria and Russia with... two former players from the Obama and Bush administration.
We will be listening to Chuck Todd, host of NBC's Meet the Press. You can see it on NBC Sunday mornings, and then listen to it here on Bloomberg Radio at 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock.